Another day, another story. One day he met an old man on the bank of a dried-up river. When Asanga approached him, he was busy knitting a fishing net. Asanga asked him in surprise, "What is it that you are doing?" The old man replied, "I knit nets to catch fish." "But where is your water where the fish are?" Asanga asked. The old man pointed his finger at the dried-up river and said, "There will be water flowing down this stream in the future, and there will be fish." Asanga reflected and came to the conclusion that he had not practiced contemplative practice enough. For mere mortals, struggling for life and hoping for the almost unobtainable, do not give up their life purpose and persist in action, but he, desiring to behold the victorious one, had given up his goal. With these thoughts Asanga returned to the cave. 3 more years of practice passed, but still he could not see Maitreya even in his dreams. This time, as he passed by an abandoned stone quarry, he noticed a man rubbing a large piece of stone against another stone. Asanga went up to him and asked, "What are you rubbing this block for?" The man explained, "I am a connoisseur of precious stones, especially diamonds. This block that I have in my hands has thin white veins that converge like rays in the center. This is a sign that there is a diamond in the center of the block. But if I break the block with a sledgehammer, the diamond will also break, so by rubbing against another stone, I will gradually reach the diamond itself and be a rich man. All wealth comes by hard work." Asanga, hearing this, thought to himself and said, "If people spare no effort and energy for their own enrichment, then how weak am I in seeking guidance on the path leading to nirvana? I must spare no energy in continuing my tantric practice." He returned again to the cave and continued his contemplation of Maitreya. Another 3 years passed, but he did not feel any progress. Asanga thought, "I sat for 9 years in contemplative practice to see Maitreya and got nothing. Apparently I am not karmically destined to accomplish anything in this life, so I wish to Maitreya that I may see him and receive instruction on how to perfect myself in the next life." Once again he set out on his wanderings. This time Asanga was walking under a large stone terrace and noticed drops of water constantly dripping at regular intervals from above into the same spot, causing a bowl-like depression to form in the terrace. This stunned him. How many years and how many drops had fallen on the stone slab to make such a depression in it? Apparently, it took the drops decades to carve such a bowl. It was then that Asanga realized that all actions require persistence and perseverance to achieve the goal, because I seek the Buddha Maitreya, to receive from him the teachings of the path of perfection, and yet I do not achieve the desired result due to laziness and lack of perseverance. I must persevere until victory is complete. I will not stop contemplating until I see him. And so he sat for another 3 years. Contemplation now took him 12 years in all. But he still didn't notice any results. Only occasionally did his intuition tell him that the goal was not far away. Again Asanga left the cave. Thinking of nothing, paying no attention to anything, he wandered on, unaware of where he was going and why. He was no longer looking for anything, neither wealth, nor happiness, nor Maitreya. Nothing excited or touched him. He went wherever his feet took him. But then suddenly he came across a sick dog lying by the roadside. He could hear it whimpering from a distance. As he came closer he noticed a deep wound on its hind leg, and the wound was full of teeming worms. The dog licked the wound helplessly and looked at him pitifully with watery eyes. He stared at it for a long time, wondering what he could do to help it. Suddenly a shudder gripped his whole body and a strong feeling of compassion suddenly sprang up in his heart. The rational desire to help the dog was replaced by a burning, passionate desire to save it, no matter what. He rushed to her, touched the wound, and then turned his attention to the moving worms. With the same strength as the dog, he felt pity for the worms as well. His task became more difficult, for to throw the worms to the ground was to destroy them. The feeling of pity grew stronger and stronger and finally embraced his whole being. All his thoughts were consumed with one desire, to save both the dog and the worms. There was nothing real in his whole inner world except this thought and this task. He snatched the bone knife he carried with him everywhere. He did so unconsciously. Instinctively he opened his thigh and began to pull the worms out of the dog's wound, carefully transferring them to his own wound. At the same moment, the dog miraculously transformed into Maitreya, in an iridescent glow, in the very appearance in which Asanga had imagined him during contemplation for 12 years. Asanga threw himself at his feet in amazement and exclaimed indignantly, "Have I been contemplating for the 12 hardest years to see thee in the guise of a wounded dog?" Maitreya answered him, "All material dharmas, things, arise from sunyata, emptiness, then, in their development, they are spatially united by the creative powers of earth and water. As they unite, they become material objects with various qualities, such as beauty or ugliness of form, usefulness or the opposite. All these different qualities of things, arising at the moment of combining the elements of matter, which act on the kleshu avidu, fetters of ignorance, are called illusions of the senses. These illusions of the senses remain with a person until he experiences enlightenment. With enlightenment the veil of illusion falls. Only then can one see, feel the root nature of things as shunyata, and then one can see the true nature of Buddha. You, Asanga, have only now removed this curtain of illusion because of the bodhisattva mindset you have developed that is expressed in pity, in compassion for the wounded dog. And yet I was near you from the moment you sat down to contemplate me. I never left your side for 12 years. 3 years later, disappointed, you left the cave and met an old man knitting a net. That was me. After another 3 years, you left the cave again and saw the man in the quarry. That was also me. After another 3 years, you left the place and turned your attention to the water drop. That was me. Finally, for the 4th time you left the cave, and now you were destined to attain bodhisattva altruism, and you saw me in the form of a dog. Sinful people believe in illusion as truth and do not believe the Buddha's words.